And I think maybe in fairness to the alliance, I wonder how many times there is truly enough left-wing policy being pushed for Stormont where they can actually have a say on. I wonder if that affects them. So they normally end up working with the likes
That's
of,
that could be. Yeah.
because I'm sure there's times where they've came to both agreement with the DUP and SDLP and, the other parties, which may be more of the centre sort of position, which maybe sort of drags them down a little bit in terms of
Yeah.
the left-wing ranking. So I think that would play an effect into it. But I think if we just get their policies up here and in their manifesto and see what they propose, it's interesting to see what type of. I think they get. I think the manifesto fairly reflects alliance, though, and I know we've just talked about how there is that. How left are they? I think it's fair to say when we read this, we were just going, yeah, that sounds very much like an alliancey type of thing to be saying. Wherever they do it is another issue. So just to bring up a few points that they were saying was oppose the repeal of the Human Rights Act, which was obviously with Brexit coming in and the Conservative government have said that they want to change that, very much against that. They were very much for integrated schooling. When it came to Brexit, they wanted a new referendum on it. Minimum wage and maternity, they want that increased, reduce emissions, open borders, remain the single market and customs. Pretty left in a lot of their regards.
It
Um,
is. I mean, but whenever you're reading through it, do you not feel that it's slightly chic left? It's a very like fashionable form of left wing kind of thought
well,
in
champion
terms of like
socialism
second referendum,
essentially.
Brexit, environmentalism, focus on rights, reform. Like the reformer governments are things like they want to elect the House of Lords and they want 16-year-olds to be able to vote. Did you say champagne socialism there?
Yeah, that's what they come off to me as. You know,
Yeah, I think that's very true. I think that's probably a perfect way of kind of describing a lot of these ideas. Maybe it's also like appealing to like a younger audience, but then it's also an aspect of champagne socialism that's so just fashionably left that that kind of feels like where they fall into. Do you agree, or is that maybe me being a little bit too cynical on them?
maybe a tad bit cynical, but I think when you look at their
I think
manifesto,
it's fair. I'm pretty cynical.
their manifesto almost reads like a Guardian article. If that makes sense. And
Yeah,
for anybody who doesn't know what I'm trying to hint at here, it's very UK centric in a lot of its policies and its idealistic outlook on even because they do go into a fair bit of depth into their international views. And it like I said, it's like reading a Guardian article. It's just everything that you would imagine to be in the Guardian is in a manifesto alliance and the alliance's manifesto. If you pardon me. So I
it's
was just
kind of like
wondering,
what an English person would think that a left wing Northern Irish party looks like. I guess.
yeah, it gives that sort of vibe, but I don't know if
Yeah,
that should surprise us when you look at the origins of alliance and being a splinter group sort of off the UUP and trying to be that moderate unionist party, and then by the mid-90s came about, they were sort of like, well, we're more lax on the national question now. So I think
completely.
you know they've always been lefty. I think that's fair to say. And as we said earlier, it's just by how left do they want to be. But it's
Yeah,
almost a standard Southern English Guardian reader. This is how this party aligned itself with.
yeah.
And they say that
They
they
are
are
part of
more.
the.
Go on, sorry.
They are part of Liberal International. Do you know of this group, Liberal International?
No, I'm not too familiar with them.
So it's like a group of like all these. So you know like how we use liberal and like our way of using it or the American way of using it. There's the American way of using it, and then there's kind of
Hmm.
a more European brand of like a liberal party. It's basically like a group of parties that usually do have the name liberal in it. Some of them have like the name like centrist or whatever kind of other like I think Finland is has like their centrist party in it, which is what you call just the Centre Party, which is a very creative name of them. But they're also there's Fianna Fáil is in there, and the Lib Dems are in the Liberal International. So that's the kind of
Oh,
parties which
well, okay.
I assume they have to share some kinship with. I don't know if they're going to say that they're brother in arms. Maybe this is like an old alliance they have. But I mean, that's something which they're. I mean, if you go on their in liberal international's Wikipedia, they're still listed as being a member of it, as far as I know, which I thought was quite interesting. Just in terms of like
Really,
looking
because
at their manifesto, anyway.
yeah. When I look at their manifesto, though, I could almost see this as being. I would see them more similar to the likes of Labour, or even more so
I would, yeah.
or if we're talking also in a more in the Republic's attitude, obviously more familiar with, or more maybe more like the Greens, maybe on the lefter side of that party. It's just very strange that they would be in line with like the likes of, or not in line, but they would share a similarity with the Lib Dems, really.